Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This one is all about your person's thoughts and feelings towards you, how they really feel, the truth of this connection. We're getting into all of it. And today we have a selection of different crystals for you to choose from. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Basically, you're going to see which of these crystals are sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention. And then as soon as you make up your mind, you can just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. By the way, if you like how I read tarot and you want to see more of it, then be sure to check out my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted readings all about your work and career situation, who is coming towards you, the beginning part of 2025, but there are so many different topics over on Patreon and new readings go up all the time. Like I said, you also get to be the first to watch my YouTube videos. If that sounds good to you, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a quick 30-minute reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live, whether you want to focus on tarot, astrology, just channeling, you get to really customize your time with me, so it's the perfect reading for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and book a session with me, and the link for that is in my description as well. So that's about all I have to say, guys. If you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Chess Queen, Trust, Strategizing, the Sun Dancers, Joyful Activity, Celebration of Life, Abundance, the Queen of the Light, Illumination, Enlightenment, Celebration, and the Hungry Ghosts, Obsession, Scarcity, Consciousness, Attachment. This is really interesting because there's a lot of emotion coming through, a mix of emotions. On one hand, I feel like this person is trying to say like, oh, they're sneaky, they're strategizing, they're strategic. And it's almost like this mix of bitterness with awe. Like I feel like sometimes this person goes back and forth. I feel like one of the reasons why they think of you so often is because they can't quite figure you out. Like there's this part of them that just thinks of you, ruminates about you almost obsessively because they're like, I don't understand pile one. And for some of you guys, they may have felt like you played them or you used them or you lied to them or you weren't fully honest. And there may be a lot of resentment, especially if things didn't work out or they didn't get to be with you or you left them or rejected them or something. They may kind of get into that like bitter energy of like, it's their fault and they're crazy and whatever. But I feel like that's also mixed with this awe, like, and loving it at the same time. You know, I could see some of you guys literally being in a relationship with this person, and this person, it's almost like I'm hearing that line from Brokeback Mountain where he's like, I just can't quit you. Where it's like this person feels literally addicted. You know, this person is like, I can't get enough. I'm just obsessed and I don't know why. And even my rational brain might tell me this person isn't good for me or this person isn't right, or maybe I should be seeking out something easier, but there's just something about this that like I can't get enough. Like I'm seeing in my mind Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love and like how obsessed with Courtney Love that Kurt Cobain was, even though so many people were like, I don't get it. Like he's the biggest rock star in the world and he could have all these groupies and why is he so into Courtney? But he really, really loved her for better or worse when it came to their relationship. And you know, maybe there was some toxic codependency and stuff, but the point is he really, really loved her. And that's what I feel like is there's a vibe here of this person just sometimes trying to almost run from their emotions by being like, yeah, you know what? They are messed up, or yeah, you know what? I don't even care about them and they're toxic and all this stuff. But then it's like their heart is saying something else. Their heart is like, I can't get enough of this person. Like I'm really into this person. Even if I know there's a part of me that knows maybe I shouldn't be, maybe it's not right for me. So I feel like this person goes back and forth and they may literally have made efforts to like move on, not care, not think of you, or, you know, forget you or date someone else. But it's like they always come back to you. And especially for those of you, I feel like there's people in this pile that they're saying you're very cold or like you broke up with them or something and didn't look back, or you broke up with them and you were really cold about it. Like you didn't cry, you didn't apologize, you didn't beg for them. You were just like, okay, bye, blocked, or you didn't really show that you were upset. And I feel like this person, and there's a part of them that really like resents that, but also really respects that. You know, there's a part of them that's like, wow, they were powerful, and I kind of have to like give that to them. Like I have to admit that that was very, very powerful of them, and that they didn't like, you didn't suffer any BS from them. You weren't willing to like tolerate anything bad, and I feel like that has made this person also want to become better, as much as they may have been annoyed at times and like thinking like, oh, it'd be really nice if they would just tolerate the BS for me, or they would just accept things as they are. But I feel like they kind of like the fact that you like stand your ground, or there's a feistiness around you. You're not accepting bad behavior. You're not tolerating someone not treating you well, and you are definitely going to stand up for yourself. And I feel like this person does really respect that. I want to get into some tarot as well. So let's see how this person feels about pile number 1. And Spirit is telling me to shuffle these cards again, even though I already did. So let me do that really quick, because when Spirit tells me something really loud, I always want to listen. Okay. Let's see. How is this person feeling towards pile 1? How are they viewing them? Why am I not surprised? The 9 of Swords. Yeah, they definitely ruminate about you a lot. They definitely think about you a lot. They definitely would like to reach out with that Page of Swords. They definitely would like to speak to you. I feel like this person is also fascinated with how you talk, what you talk about, even the way you speak, like the cadence of your speech, your lips, your mouth. They think of you as someone who has a very interesting mind. They think of you as someone who's very smart. Again, sometimes when they're feeling very bitter, they may use that against you and be like, yeah, she's super strategic and she lied and she did it all on purpose or something. And when this person is like feeling lovey-dovey, I feel like they're like, wow, she's so smart. Oh my God, it's amazing. So it kind of depends on their mood. It depends on the vibe. It can shift depending on what they're going through at that moment. But yeah, I do feel like this person really does care about you, and they do look up to you. They do hold you in high regard and kind of in awe a little bit. Like they really see you in a really beautiful light. You know, they see you in a really nice way, even if sometimes it doesn't feel like that, even if sometimes it feels like they just I don't know. I feel like this person also, it's almost like they want to hold their emotions close to the vest. They don't want you to know exactly how they're feeling. Like, I feel like in a way, because this person can't get a good read on how you feel, it kind of makes them play the game more, or try to, you know, suss out how you're feeling. Like, they would feel more comfortable if they knew how you felt. And I feel like in a way that would make all their walls come down. There is this sense that like you would just reject them, like you would not accept them, or you would not be into them. So it's kind of like, okay, it is what it is. That's not even an option. I can't even get with pile number 1, so why am I trying? Or if you're in a relationship with this person, it could just be that they like you a lot, and they don't want you to quite know how much they like you. They may sometimes ask you, you know, like, do you love me, before they'll say that to you, or try to like figure out how you're feeling, or try to make you jealous or something. Because I feel like it's like there's a part of them that worries that they care so much more about you than you care about them, or they like you so much more than you like them. They worry that like they're really down bad, and they don't want anyone else to know that. They don't want you to know that. They don't want their friends to know that. They worry about kind of being a simp, or having their heart broken, or just getting played by you. And they do see you as such a catch. Like they see that as something that would be very easy for you to do, to cheat, to find another partner, to just move on without even caring. So that kind of worries them, and it kind of keeps them from fully just embracing their genuine, honest emotions and totally being transparent with you. Let me see. I feel like this person also tries to come off as smart. And as I'm saying that, we get the Queen of Swords. This person sees you as so smart. That is just coming through so strong. Like they love your mind. They may love talking to you and see you as just an incredibly interesting conversationalist, just someone that like they could talk to for hours and never run out of things to say and just always be like fascinated by, wow, you think that? That's so cool. Like I feel like they can learn from you and it's interesting for them. It's fun for them. It's fulfilling for them to hear from you, to learn from you, to grow with you. They really enjoy that. They genuinely enjoy talking to you. You know how like sometimes men will make jokes about their wives and be like, well, I wish, I could turn the volume down on her like I do with the TV remote and these stupid jokes. Like, I feel like this person would never make that joke about you because they genuinely do love to hear from you. They want to hear you talk. It's like the opposite of that joke. Like, if they could raise the volume all the way up and just watch the same channel all day, you know how sometimes people like they'll just choose a channel and watch it all day long, like someone who's into like the news, they may just put it on Fox News or put it on MSNBC or put it on CNN, and that's like all they watch. Or they love home renovation, so they watch HGTV or whatever, and that's just like their channel that they're really into, and they'll watch everything. Or like QVC Home Shopping Network, whatever. And I feel like that's what this person would do with you. Like, they never get bored. They never run out of interest. They always are like riveted. That expression, like I'm sat, when someone's like really, or yeah, like just like I can't wait to hear from this person. Or like there's certain celebrities or musical artists that when they release music, everyone's going to talk about it, or their fans are definitely going to buy it. Doesn't even matter if it's like not that good of an album, their fans will line up to buy it, or their fans are going to post up to get their merch or their concert tickets. And like, it's not even a question. It's not like, oh, do I like that merch? I don't know. No, I'm not going to buy it. It's like, of course I'm going to buy it. And I feel like that's what this person would do for you. They are like a fan. It's almost like giving fan energy. Let's get into more cards for you. Pile one. I want to get two more. Okay, perfect. So we got, the High Priestess. This one is the Page of Cups reversed. And the Five of Pentacles. So this person may struggle with feelings of unworthiness, feeling of not being good enough for you with this Page of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles coming out. They definitely may feel like you're kind of out of their league, low key. I feel like this person, again, would never, ever, ever tell you. If anything, they'd go out of their way to be like, I'm definitely not, because they do feel that way. Like, they definitely feel that way. And it is a little bit of an insecurity that I feel like this person, they're the kind of person that would like stare at you in your sleep while you're sleeping and you don't know. Not that they're like a total creep, but they're just like, like they really love you, I want to say. Like if they could just stare at you all day long like a painting. Like if you've ever, I grew up in DC, and one of the things in DC is all the museums are free, so you can go to the same museums. And I would go when I was growing up, or like a teen, I would go to the National Gallery all the times, and just like if I had free time, I'd go to the National Gallery and just kind of like walk around and hang out because I like the art. Anyway, there's always certain paintings you like gravitate more to than others, right? Or a painting that you just love and you could stare at it for hours. And like you could go see all the other paintings or like a new exhibit or whatever, but you're always going to go back to that painting and you're always going to stare at it, and you're maybe going to notice new details, and you're just going to be like, wow. And it just hits you different. Maybe no one else really cares about that painting, but there's just something about that painting or that piece of art that it's just like, oh, that's amazing. And you could just stare at it all day long, right? And I feel like that's how this person views you. Like, it's just like, I could just post up and just look at this person all day. I could just spend hours standing in front of them and just like examining them, and and I'll never get bored. It's never like I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't notice that brush stroke. Yeah, I don't really like this painting anymore. Oh, okay, never mind. My curiosity is satisfied, whatever, on to the next. It's always going to be like, oh, this is just amazing, and I just wish I could look at it all day long. It's interesting though with the Page of Cups, because I'm definitely picking up on that. Like, this person doesn't really want to be vulnerable, doesn't really want to be forthright. They may even pretend or give off the guise of like wanting to seem very intellectual with you, wanting to seem like the conversations like it's not that deep, or I'm not that emotional, or I don't care that much emotionally. Like, I'm just having a debate with you. I'm just having a conversation. I'm just talking to you. Because it's like they're much more comfortable in that Page of Swords energy. And then the Page of Cups is reversed. So they don't want to get so emotional. They don't want to show you their vulnerability. They don't want to pour out their feelings and be like, I'm in love and I was crying last night and I just like, I love you so much. They don't want to say that, but they may feel comfortable like teasing you or making jokes with you or acting like, hey, so I saw this documentary. I was thinking you might like it. Yeah, it was really interesting, and like talking about things that may not be directly about their feelings. Again, I feel like there's a fear this person has that if they were fully honest with you about your feelings, you would maybe literally think they're crazy and like get a restraining order, get a taser, be like, oh my God, you think of me that much? And I feel like this person, low key, it may even freak them out. They may be like, why am I thinking of this person 24/7? Like I wake up in the morning, I think of them. I go to sleep, I think of them. All the time in between, I think of them. Every Instagram reel reminds me of them. Every freaking romantic movie and song that comes on the radio, I think of them. Um, yeah, they may just be like a little bit, wow, this has never happened for me. I've never felt this way before about this person. And I feel like yeah, it definitely freaks them out too. I want to get into some song cards for you. Pile number 1. So let's see what kind of emotions pile 1's person has for them. Okay, so we got Bluebeard, Band of Horses. Just gonna pull a few cards. Okay, that was way too many. Alien Days, MGMT, I know the title got blurred. Someone in my life spilled water on these cards, not me. So honestly, not me. So they are blurry. Some of them. A Sky Full of Stars, Coldplay. Let's see. For once in my life, it genuinely was not me that was clumsy and spilled the water, but that person shall remain nameless. Death by a Thousand Cuts by Taylor Swift. How does this person feel towards pile 1? Love at First Sight, Kylie Minogue. And Blue Ain't Your Color by Keith Urban. And let me get one more. One Track Mind, Chromeo. That's a perfect song to sum this up, because the lyrics are like, I got a one-track mind and it's taking up all my time and it's all on you. It's all on you. And the whole song is just about kind of being obsessed and like waking up in the morning and thinking of this person, and like my mind is just fixated on you. And I feel like that definitely sums up the vibe here. Like this person, I also feel like with Alien Days, what's coming through with that is that this person thinks of you as so different, so unique, so special. It's almost like you're the only one in town that's got what you're selling. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you've ever really been into something, you know how sometimes they'll like discontinue a food item, like that's, I don't know, some random Oreo flavor that they made temporarily. Like say they made like cotton candy Oreos. I don't know if they have. That sounds like something they would make, but I don't know if they have or not. But anyway, and it's like a very specific item, limited edition, whatever. And maybe someone's like obsessed and they try it and they're like, these are the best ever. Oh my God. And then they get discontinued. And then you will see that like, if you go online, you can buy it on like eBay or whatever, but you're going to pay a lot more money. You know, there was a perfume I loved. And it got discontinued. I didn't realize it at the moment. And then when I went to buy it, like only a year or so later, I was like, oh, let me buy some more. I can't really find it. Well, let me. And then I finally Googled it and I'm like, it's discontinued. And I was like, well, I'll just buy some from eBay. But the prices had gone up like 3 or 4 times already in a year. I'm sure it's even higher now. But the thing is, for me, I was just like, that's crazy how high it went in that short of a time. But if that's your only option, if that's the only source, then you have no choice but to pay, right? You may get frustrated. You may be like, well, I don't really want to pay that much. That's not really the actual price, but if that's what it costs, that's what it costs. And if that's your only source, you can't go into a store and just buy it like you used to. You have to go on eBay. You have to pay those third-party sellers, and that's what you're going to have to do. And that's the vibe I'm getting with this person, is sometimes they may even wish, like, I wish someone else was more like pile number 1, so it would be easier for me. So I could just go to someone else for this source, for this attention, for this deep love I have for them, because it's like a little bit overwhelming for me. And I don't want to be so tied to this person. Like, this person is sometimes afraid of how much they like you and how how unique they find you, and the fact that they feel so attached to you, and the fact that they feel like they can't really get it from anyone else. So it's like they're kind of stuck, you know? They're kind of like, oh my God, this is my only supplier, and I'm addicted to this. So I don't have a say, and I have to pay, and I can't go anywhere else to get it. And I feel like that is something that really gets to them. And maybe sometimes they've even thought about like sabotaging things or ending things or running away from things because they just hate the fact that they're so tied to it. You know, they hate the fact, like, if you're that person that maybe every night you would eat some cotton candy Oreos, but it's disconnected, and now you have to pay like $100 for just a pack of Oreos that used to cost $5, right? And even though you may love those cotton candy Oreos, there may be a part of you that's like, okay, at a certain point, I cannot pay $100 for a pack of Oreos. Like, I have to find something else. I have to find something else to eat. I can't do this anymore. And it may be very hard, but you may be like, you know, I just can't. And I feel like for some of these people, they may have had that running away energy of like, I cannot do this. I have to find something else. I have to get away from this because this is so intense for me. This is so powerful. I feel like they also definitely want to kind of take care of you, because we got Blue Ain't Your Color by Keith Urban. So that's making me think that this person like hates to see you when you're sad, hates to think of you being upset, would want to protect you and take care of you. Sometimes I feel like they think you're too independent, and they're wondering how they could even fit into your life. They're wondering how they could even add that kind of value, because there's a part of them that's like, I don't think they even want that from me. I don't think they care that much. I don't think they need me in that way, and they wish you did need them. They kind of love your independence and it makes you attractive to them, but then there's also that part of them that's like, I wish they were more approachable. I wish I had more of a purpose in their life. Like, they also, I kind of glazed over this, but they see you as the high priestess. The high priestess is extremely powerful and intimidating. Yeah, like that high priestess, I mean, it definitely has that connection to psychic abilities, but the high priestess is literally kind of like goddess feminine archetype. So if you think about it, back in the day when people worshipped the gods and Venus had her temples, and, you know, Mars and everything, they had their own temples. Um, Venus, if you think about walking into any of those temples back in the day, and maybe the priestess would be sitting there and you would go pay the priestess to get some guidance or to do a spell for you or to do a ritual for you or something. If you could think about it, you know, they would live in those marble temples. That's where they would sit, and they would have like a throne, and you'd have to approach, you'd have to give an offering. And you can only imagine the fear back in like ancient Greece, ancient Rome, walking into the coolness of the temple and feeling the marble around you, smelling the incense, and feeling that intensity, feeling that you were in the presence of power, deep spiritual power, feeling that fear of kind of like, this is someone who's not just intelligent on a human level, but on a supernatural level. So they can judge me, they can see through me, they can read my intentions, they can read my mind. And that nerve, that nervousness, those nerves that would come over you, the feeling of, oh my God. And I feel like that's kind of how this person feels around you. There's a reverence, and it's not just physical. It's not just like, oh yeah, they're sexy, they're hot, or they're smart, or they're cool, or whatever. It's like, oh my God, like a goddess, like, wow, there's such a deep, there's a depth there. There's a level of reverence and acclaim and just like respect for you, I feel like, that this person has. And it kind of shakes them up, because I feel like they haven't felt this way for anyone else before, you know. They may have literally experienced love at first sight with you, but I feel like with a sky full of stars, it's definitely that vibe where like everything reminds this person of you. Everything comes back to you, you know, no matter what's going on, they're thinking of you. You're always on their mind in some way. And it's something I think sometimes they bristle at and resent and want to like escape from, because they're like, why should I feel so tied to this person? Why should I be so obsessed with them? Why should they be like occupying my mind to this extent? Why can't I think of anyone else? Why, even if I try to run away from this and I try to go on other dates, is my mind always going back to pile one? Why is it that, again, if you're in a relationship with this person, it could be like you guys get into a big fight and they say like, well, I'm never going to talk to you again or something. And then they call you again, you know, or whatever. Or they may tell themselves, you know, like, well, they're too demanding, I'm going to find someone easier. But then they're never happy with, and they always want to come back to you, you know. Let me get into some astro dice for you. Pile one, what are the astrological energies at play? So we have Mars, Sagittarius, and the 10th house. So we have Aries, Sagittarius, Capricorn. So Mars energy, obviously Mars is our sexuality in part, coupled with Pluto, but Mars is really that potent sex drive. I feel like this person is so attracted to you, but you kind of bring out that competitive, aggressive side to them. Like you kind of make them crazy. Like that Mars energy can be almost pressing in its intensity. It's not like a Venus energy where when you love someone, you're just like, I love you and I just want to cuddle you and I'm just, yeah, I'm just here whenever you need me and I'll just take care of you and pat your hair. It's like, there's an energy of Mars that's very like intense. It's like, I'm going to have you. I'm going to get after you. I'll fight anyone who comes near you. You know, it is that potent drive that's not as predictable or easy to control or as easy to tamp down on. It's not as gentle. It's not as pleasant sometimes to experience, whether you're on the receiving end or you're the one feeling it, whether you're the one who's so attracted to someone and they kind of make you jealous and they make you crazy and you're just like losing your mind with it. And you find yourself even acting out of character around them. You know, I feel like you bring out that side from this person. With Sagittarius, again, to me, that's bringing up the escapism that a lot of Sagittarians have, which is why they rule the ninth house of travel, where sometimes when the going gets tough, Sagittarians get going in the opposite direction, right? Like they're like, oh, I'm not dealing with this. So I do feel like for some of you guys, this person could have an escapist attitude where sometimes they try to sabotage, they try to leave things behind. They don't fully want to like experience all these emotions and it may be very, very overwhelming for them. It may be like, let me escape. Let me try to experience other things. Let me try to distract myself or seek out other relationships or seek out other people because I just can't deal with this. Like, this is too intense for me. This is too much. But I feel like it's like they always come back to you. That's the lesson with Sag is like, as much as you may try to escape, you at the end of the day you're still going to have your same problems there, and that's kind of why Sagittarius's house is followed by the Capricorn house, the 10th house, because that's kind of the lesson is like as much fun as it is to escape, at the end of the day we still have those same problems and we got to return to them, and Capricorn knows that full well. The 10th house of Capricorn is also very disciplined, very wise, very smart, very diligent. It does deal with your public reputation, your career. I feel like this person really does hold you in that high Capricorn regard of just like very competent, very intelligent, very exacting, high standards. They see you as someone who doesn't suffer fools or isn't acting like a clown, isn't chaotic, but is very tough in a way, and they have to like be on their best behavior, and I feel like that again intimidates them but also excites them. So it definitely provokes a mix of emotions in this person, but overall yeah, they're definitely into you. They definitely feel very strongly, and I feel like their emotions are so strong. Like, this is just a very powerful connection. And if you guys aren't together, I don't know, they'll probably always remember you or always think of you because this is just very intense. And as much as this person may sometimes try to run away from it, it's like they really can't. So yeah, that is what I have for you. Pile number one. I really hope that resonates. If you want to see more of my content, then be sure to head to my Patreon. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about who is coming towards you, the first early part of 2025, as well as one about how you can get your biggest blessings and abundance. So if any of those sounds good to you, or you want that early access to my YouTube videos and you get to be the first to watch my YouTube readings, then head on over to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live, whether you want it to be a tarot reading, astrology reading, a open channeling session, a combination, whether you want it to I think those are be a year ahead reading, whether you want it to be a love reading, a career reading, you get to really choose what we focus on and what we talk about. So if that sounds good, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon for another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Prison Wave, Self-Sabotage, Poverty Consciousness, the Desert Prince, Survival, False Promises, the Eyes of Beauty, Positive Expectations, Clarity, and the High Lord of Gratitude and Service, Selflessness, Humility, conscious action. So I'm definitely feeling a lot of emotions of sadness coming in. It feels like this person may be living in a lot of regret. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a no contact or an ex situation, or maybe this person never like stepped up to the plate and asked you out, because I do feel like they're coming through with a lot of regret and a lot of wistfulness. Like they're coming through kind of to say like, I bungled it, I messed it up, I didn't act right, I didn't figure it out, I didn't do it the way I would do it now. Like if I could redo it, I would. If I could go back in time, I would. They may have literally been engaging in self-sabotage. I feel like this person may have had a sense that they weren't good enough for you, and they may have been in like runner energy where, they felt like they weren't good enough. So they kind of decided the best thing to do was just to not do it at all, just get away from it, just sabotage things, because I feel like in a way, they didn't want you to see the real them. It's like they never felt such a vulnerability. They never felt that someone saw through them the way you saw through them. They never really felt as understood as they felt with you. And sometimes that was scary, because I feel like this person has a lot of traumas. They have a lot of fears around intimacy. They have maybe even a deep sense of not being good enough. And as much as they try to distract from that, I feel like they're not even aware of that themselves. Like they would probably be like, huh, I don't feel that way, I'm confident. But deep down inside, yeah, there is this feeling of like, I'm not good enough, or if they could see the real me, they wouldn't like me. They would run away. They wouldn't accept me. They would abandon me, and I could not deal with that pain, because I feel like it's almost like, especially from you, they do respect your opinion, they do hold you in high regard, so it's almost easier to just keep you at arm's length and keep the relationship under their control than to fully let down their walls and run that risk that you would just be like, oh, no, 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 never mind, sorry, I thought you were someone else, and I thought you were going to be different, and I'm not that into you because, yeah, you're not the one for me. And I do feel like that was a fear they had. That was a feeling that if they did let you in, that's probably what you would do. You would not be pleased with them the way they're honestly pleased with you. I feel like they are someone that did really like you, but it's honestly hard for them to even go there with with their emotions. This person may literally do things to distract themselves, like drink too much, smoke too much, use substances, go out and party, keep themselves busy, or just distract themselves with their life. I could even see some of these people being in a third party relationship or having other reasons why they like can't be with you, having things that are kind of holding them back from actually making this happen that may have literally been out of their control. It may not all be just cap where they're like saying that like they can't make it work, but they could have. It may be that they literally were, in a relationship, or they literally were, like leaving a messy marriage or something like that, and that may have been totally true. I feel like there was a lot going on for some of these people, but for some of them it may have just been that feeling of self-sabotage and that feeling of like, I can't do this, and let me run away from this, because this is almost like too good to be true. Like they may literally have a scarcity consciousness to the point where like they don't accept the good things. When something good happens, they want to ruin it. Or they may have even literally been in just an energy of like, I'm not ready for this right now, but let me try to circle back. Like sometimes I think they just wanted space to get away, maybe even to do some self-improvement. And they may have told themselves like, okay, I just need to take a moment for myself. But that may have come out of a place of, again, fear of not being good enough as they are, and kind of like needing distance, needing to get away from it. And then maybe they did have the intention that like, okay, I'm going to fix myself, I'm going to come back later. And then it's like too much time has passed, and now they're like, okay, I can't do that. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird. I feel like also this person was resistant to acknowledging it, acknowledging how much they cared, acknowledging their emotions. And I feel like for them, there is a part of it that it's taken them time to fully admit how powerful this connection was, how powerful their feelings for you were. And on one hand, there was every attempt made to just bury it down, stuff it down inside, ignore it, pretend it wasn't happening, and just kind of like yeah, be delusional about it. You know, there was a big part of them that may have felt like, if I just don't acknowledge it, if I just run away, if I just distract myself, then I won't have to deal with this. I won't have to let this person is in, and they won't be disappointed. They won't see the real me. So they won't know what a loser I really am deep down inside. Because with the eyes of beauty, I do feel like there was this part of them that felt like they weren't good enough for you, that you were better than them. You could do better than them. You had other things to do. I feel like this person didn't want to like acknowledge that to themselves out loud. They may not have ever told themselves that directly, but that was something going on in their subconscious, was like, I'm definitely not good enough for this person. Let me get into some tarot cards for you. Pile number 2. What tarot are we going to get for pile 2 for this person and how this person feels about them? So we got the 8 of Wands, the Queen of Cups reversed, the King of Wands, and the Fool. I'm hearing that song by Tegan and Sarah, I Was a Fool for You, which is a pretty sad breakup song. But yeah, this person, you know, they may feel much more comfortable in the Wands arena, being this King of Wands, than trying to be this Queen of Cups, and they may not feel comfortable. Like I feel like there was a part of you that maybe tried to bring out their emotions or help them talk about their feelings or help them go there, maybe that saw the vulnerable side to them. And this person may feel more comfortable in short-term relationships, short-term flings, or keeping things more on a surface level than going really deep. The Cups is where we go very deep. We talk about our feelings. We process our feelings and our emotions. We acknowledge that we need someone. We acknowledge the depth of a connection when it comes to the Cups. And with the Wands, it can just be more living in the moment, having fun, flirting. And this person may just feel more comfortable in that space, more comfortable keeping things surface level, or even seeking out short-term flings. With the Fool, they may like that new, now, like fresh energy that comes when you're just dating someone new. I feel like their higher self is coming through to say that this person does have dysfunctional tendencies. If you ever felt played by them or lied to by them, just know that a lot of that had to do with them and their lack of maturity. To be honest, that's what's coming up, is like a lack of maturity. I feel like if this person isn't already regretting things, they probably will. And this person's spirit is saying they're very impetuous. It's almost like spirit just, this is funny, spirit really reading them for filth, but spirit showing me like a little kid banging on pots and pans, like throwing their spoon across the room, and just like having a little tantrum. And I feel like for them, they're just saying this person, it's not even like the kid is banging on the pots and pans angrily. It's just, you know, how toddlers will just mindlessly like break stuff or just be like, oh, this pan, it makes noise, so I'll bang it against the refrigerator. And they don't even know that they could like damage something, or that like that's a really loud noise and it's not really fun to listen to. And it's just kind of like the toddler brain living in the moment and not really thinking things through. And I feel like there was some of that for some of these people, like being very present with that 8 of Wands. You know, the 8 of Wands is also, Wands in general live in the moment, and 8 of Wands is definitely a very urgent energy. So it is very kind of temporal, temporary, ephemeral. And I feel like with this person, they kind of aren't necessarily a super long-term thinker. So some of their actions may have been just literally being careless. Literally someone that isn't thinking things through, is living for the moment, living for what feels good. I'm hearing that Bon Jovi song, Living on a Prayer, which I know is like not, that's not the theme of the song, but you know how it's like 80s hair rock and it's like very macho and it's kind of fun, and it's about like being young and wild or something. So I feel like with this person, they kind of embody that energy a little bit. That's where they feel comfortable. They may not feel comfortable getting really deep, and they may not even be comfortable or capable of that kind of depth of really, really going there. You know, I think my interpretation of the King of Wands, and not to hate on the Wands or fire energy, but I do think there's emotional limitations, even with the King of Wands, where it may be like, when it's time, like we all have that friend, right? That's like really fun to be around. Maybe they're a blast at parties. Maybe they're just like the best conversationalist. But if you ask them, like, so, okay, tell me about your breakup. What are your emotions? And yes, I am a grand water trine, water sun, water moon. So I will introduce these very awkward topics at parties and be like, let's talk about our traumas, guys. But anyway, if you try to go there, if you try to talk about real feelings, that friend, as fun as they may be, they may get really flustered or be like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Or, no, we're just having fun tonight. Or like, no, anyway, we're having a good time. And you can kind of sense that discomfort with like, oh, this is just too much for me. Maybe they haven't even processed their own emotions. They may even say, like my ex-boyfriend, oh, I don't care, I'm just having fun. But you can see the sadness in them. You can feel the energy is different, right? And that's kind of what I'm getting with this person is like, they may not be comfortable really going there. They may be very, I want to say, emotionally illiterate. I know that's a funny term, but it's like they're just not good at handling their emotions. They're not good at managing their feelings. I always mention how there's so many like cancer performers. Cancer really rules the emotions more than any other sign. Cancer really embodies emotions and it's ruled by the moon. And there's so many Cancer suns, so many Cancer moons, so many Cancer placements in general that are like big performers, and they're always the type to write like wistful love songs, very emotional songs, very dramatic songs, and I think that's why they get so popular. But my point in talking about that is I think one of the reasons why Cancers do so well in like songwriting and writing these emotional songs is because they're so forced to contend with their emotions. Because for Cancers, they have to deal with their emotions on such a deep level. They're really at the forefront, even more so than for Pisces or Scorpio. Cancers really feel things so intensely and so deeply. So it's kind of like not an option to block it out. And that's why I think they're able to tune into like really deep breakup feelings and people relate to those songs, or really deep feelings of falling in love, or really deep feelings of anger. But whatever it is, they're able to channel those emotions almost better than anyone else, right? And it is a gift. Like, it is something that is a skill. The more you're forced to deal with your emotions, the more you're forced to contend with it and like go there, the more you kind of are able to decipher even what's going on and being like, oh, you know what, that's why I'm in a bad mood. It's because this happened. Or, you know what, I think I'm just feeling really out of sorts and it's because of blah, blah, blah. Or I'm in love and I know I feel it in my body. It's almost like sometimes, even though it can be overwhelming at first, then you learn to navigate it. Kind of like a powerful piece of machinery. Over time, it gets less intimidating. It's like, oh, this is what's going on. Okay, that's why it's making this noise. That's why it's a little bumpy today, because this had happened. And you learn how to decipher that. And then some people, their emotions just may not be at the forefront as much. They may be more capable of putting that at bay or pretending it's not happening. Even low vibrational dysfunctional Cancers can oftentimes find themselves being very unemotional because they're putting that away. They're not even letting themselves go there, right? And I feel like that's what this person is doing. Like, they're just not functional when it comes to dealing with how they really feel for you. So there's a big part of them that just kind of like seeks out other experiences and just runs away from them. Let me get two more tarot cards for you. Pile number 2. The Hermit. How is this person feeling towards pile number 2? And the Page of Pentacles. Let me get one more, actually. The Six of Cups. So this person is feeling a little bit wistful. They are looking back at their feelings for you and at their emotions for you, and maybe feeling that sense of regret, feeling that sense that they did miss out. With the Hermit, I feel like there was a part of them also that may have like judged you or been really harsh with you. That's what I'm getting from that card, is kind of the way the Hermit can be ostracized by society, or people will be like, well, why? Because the Hermit was like an actual thing back in the day that would like go live on the fringes of society. Like, they wouldn't have a job. They'd just live, on someone's land in like some kind of cave. And, normal, quote unquote, normal society and people would maybe look down on them. And I feel like there was energy where this person you may have felt judged by this person. And I feel like if you did feel judged, that was accurate, because this person, I feel like in a way, they want to try to focus on your flaws. They want to try to focus on the negative because that's their escape valve. That's their escape route. It's like if they were fully honest about feeling down bad for you, you know, that's just not a space they feel comfortable in. They feel much more comfortable even like passing judgment or being like, oh my God, that's so lame, than being like, wow, I'm obsessed and I'm really vulnerable here and I love this person and I think I'll never be the same and I can't move on and I think about them obsessively. So instead, they may focus on flaws as a way to emotionally remove themselves from the moment, right? They may focus on all the downsides. And you may have felt very judged by them at a certain point. Or some of you guys may have felt like this person did something very cruel, or like, okay, so did you never care at all? Like, what the heck? Why did you act this way? Why did you treat me like that? And I feel like that was totally valid. I feel like this person may even be experiencing shame on their part for how they acted. They may feel like, I really did mess that up. They may also be in an energy of trying to get things better. Again, I feel like for some of the people in this pile, they did have a vision that maybe things would be different in the future. Like it's almost like if I can switch up, if I can change, if I can grow with that Page of Pentacles, then maybe I can come back once I've improved myself, once I've fixed this, and this. It may be trying to fix their money situation. It may be trying to fix their body or their physical appearance. But I do feel like they had kind of an end goal in mind of like, okay, I'm not ready right now, but one day I will, and then I'll come back and then I'll apologize. But now it's like there's also shame, or there's also this feeling of like, I don't know if I'm good enough, or I'm insecure about that, or like I don't think I'm ready yet. It's almost like they keep putting it off. It's like when you are nervous about something, like you have a big paper to write in school and you end up just like leaving it to the last minute because it almost freaks you out so much that you can't think about it. So I feel like sometimes this person gets overwhelmed by an urge to like reach out, say something, talk to you, but then it's also like, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not going to say anything, put my phone away, that kind of a vibe. Let me get into some song cards for you. Pile number 2. How is this person feeling for pile 2? So we got High by the Beach, Lana Del Rey. I'm telling you, some of these people are avoiding reality by like drinking too much, maybe getting high, maybe using substances, maybe smoking too much. This one says, So Hot You're Hurting My Feelings, Caroline Polachek. Yummy, Justin Bieber, Moondance, Van Morrison. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, with So Hot You're Hurting My Feelings, I also feel like some of these people in this pile, they could be like kind of narcissistic. Like they're almost high on their own supply, like thinking I'm so great, or thinking that they're the best, or like again, a lot of these persons' thoughts, it's like from a place of delusion or from a place of almost like fake it till you make it, or I'm just going to tell myself whatever I want to hear. Even though I don't believe it, I know it's cap, I know it's BS, I'm going to go along with this lie. I'm going to go along with this narrative because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel better to tell myself that. So I'm going to tell myself like I'm super sexy and I have all these options. And it may even be something they do. They may seek out other people to hook up with, fun things to do, places to travel to, career goals. But really what's underlying it is a feeling of not being good enough. It's like there's a difference between achieving something energetically from a place of like, yes, I know this is in alignment. I have faith in myself. I know it. I want to bring this to the world. And I'm so happy about this, versus achieving something or going after a goal because you're like, I'm not good enough. Like it's almost like I'm seeing, have you ever been to a Pilates studio or a yoga studio and you're doing like the yoga or you're doing the Pilates, you're trying to like be mindful and be in your body. And especially with yoga, like I like to do slow yoga and hot yoga and like really meditate while I'm doing it and feel the like muscles in my body. And then there'll be someone like next to you that you can just tell and you can feel their energy so strong that they're like being very competitive. They may be trying to like get their body to do the most flexible pose, or they just seem to be like, if they see someone else doing the more difficult thing or choosing to like, make the pose slightly harder, then they're going to copy that person, or they're trying to like sit right in the front and be really close to the instructor and copy everything. And you just get this weird vibe where you're like, are you actually here to meditate and like enjoy and do yoga and like align and have it be a spiritual practice, which it is? Or are you here just to compete and you like wanted to do something more low intensity than boxing, but boxing is what you should be doing with this crazy Mars energy you're exuding. You know what I mean? And I feel like this person, they come at it from that place, a feeling of lack, a feeling of I have to compete, I have to be good enough. So it's really hard because they're not even sometimes as honest with themselves about what they're doing. It may feel good for them in the moment to feel like I did it, I beat this person. Like I feel like that person maybe in the moment when they do that really difficult pose, or when they feel like they, were just kind of like, okay, I succeeded, I was the best person in this yoga class, then they may feel a temporary charge, but then always that emptiness comes back, right? Where they feel like, okay, why did I do that? I didn't really get the spiritual practice. I didn't actually meditate during, the end doing like dead man's pose. And I didn't actually get any spiritual value or connection from that. I just felt the need to compete mindlessly. And I feel like that's what this person is. Like they are saying like, I don't know, there's a big part of them that just does stuff. And then after the fact, they still feel that same emptiness. It's hard for them to be fulfilled. It's hard for them to feel satisfied. They ignore things and they focus on something that feels good. But it's almost like this person is a liability to be around because they're also very critical of others. They judge other people. They don't reconcile to themselves. They're not able to go to that place of deep honesty and tell themselves, hey, like you didn't act right, or you need to be vulnerable here, or you need to feel these things. They really run away from all those difficult conversations, and it makes this person very good at repressing their emotions. And then they go into regret. And then late at night, they feel it super strongly. They feel that sense of, I screwed it up. And I feel like even if it takes a while, this person is definitely going to get there. They're definitely going to get to a place of deep regret for how they acted, unless they can figure these things out and make it happen. Let's get into some astrology dice for you. Pile number 2. So we got Taurus. Okay, and then we have Mercury. And then we have the second house. Okay, so we have double Taurus actually, so I'm going to spin this one more time. And we got Leo. Okay, great. So Leo is a fire sign. Leo is very prideful. Leo is like the life of the party very often. But again, Leo can sometimes focus on their own selves, like a low vibrational Leo, to the detriment of everyone else. Like, for example, boomers, no offense to them, but they are the Pluto in Leo generation. And just as all of the Plutonian kind of signs often get embodied generationally by the lower vibrational aspects of those elements. Pluto in Leo, the boomers are known for being kind of self-centered and also having amazing music, being very like bold and exciting and a lot of fun, but again, kind of selfish and self-centered. And I do feel like this person has a self-centered energy. There's someone that kind of looks about themselves, thinks about themselves. They're always measuring themselves. They may have literally felt triggered by you, competitive with you, kind of like trying to get one over on you, because I feel like they do feel like they're not good enough deep down. And in a way, you get their competitive juices flowing. Like you make them want to compete. And they may have literally felt that towards you, not like let me compete for a pile 2, but let me compete against them, because they do see you as so amazing. They do see you as so special, and they kind of can see everyone else feels that way as well, and it kind of sets them on edge. I feel like deep down they don't feel good enough for you, and how they express that is sometimes by being sabotaging towards you, or sometimes even trying to bring down your self-esteem or trying to make you question yourself. And that's what I don't like about this energy. We also have Mercury. And again, I feel like this person feels much more comfortable in a space that's kind of unemotional. Mercury rules over Gemini and Virgo, and it's not an energy that is like, oh, I want to talk about feelings all day. I mean, they probably could, but a lot of Virgos and Geminis, they'd rather focus on like information, not those deep feelings, but like, let's get the data, let's get the info, let's figure out the details. Let's use that kind of quality of our mind, like air energy. Let's think about things intellectually, or let's bear down onto things with that earth energy and be very brass tacks about it. So I do feel like for you guys, this person, it's almost like they are negligent with their emotions. Like the way someone who is like 95 probably shouldn't be driving like a huge car around because it's like kind of a danger to everyone else because they can't operate it. Like maybe this person should be barred from dating because they are so bad at like handling their emotions. I feel like they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to be mature. They don't know how to manage things. They don't know how to treat everyone with respect. And sometimes they really bungle it and screw things up and like hurt people, you know? And again, second house energy coming through. The second house is our house of earned income. It's a house where we show our worth, our worth. It's not worth we get from anyone else, like the eighth house, which opposes the second house. So it's that house where we have to prove our own mettle. We have to stand alone. We have to like do something and prove our value. And I feel like for you guys, this person is very focused on that. They're still in that energy of striving to get ahead, pushing themselves, wanting to be good enough. And sometimes being with you may have triggered that feeling that they're actually not good enough. And it may have made them go into this competitive mode where sometimes you may have felt like they sabotaged you. Sometimes you may have felt like they kind of didn't want to see you succeed. They didn't want to see you thrive. You may have been like, what is this weird energy? Like, I know they're into me, or I know they're my partner, but I don't know, they don't seem happy, or they seem to want to like keep me not thriving. They don't seem like they really want to see me succeed. And if you felt that way, I feel like that is accurate because this person has a lot to work through. They're very immature. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to call it like it is, be blunt. I feel like they are very immature and they're really not capable of seeing you absolutely thrive and soar and succeed because that threatens them. Because deep down inside, they may also be afraid that you would leave them, abandon them, hurt them. So it's almost like, let me keep this person downgraded. Let me keep this person out of their power so I can be the one to call the shots. So yeah, that is what I have for you. Pile number 2. I really hope that resonates. Yeah, there was a lot of sabotage here. Like, I feel like for those of you guys that didn't actually like date this person, or they may have like, you may have felt played by them. Again, a lot of it comes down to like this person has this negging energy where they want to make you question yourselves, whether you actually dated them or in a relationship with them or not. You may have felt like, I think this person wants to like take down my self-esteem. And again, Spirit just wants you to know a lot of that comes from them, not from you. So that is what I have for you guys. If you want to see more of my content, then be sure to head to my Patreon. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon. And you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about who is coming towards you the early part of 2025, as well as what you need to do to get blessing, success, and abundance. But there are so many readings to choose from over on Patreon. And like I said, you also get early access to my YouTube videos. So you get to be the first to watch my YouTube readings. If that sounds good to you, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com. And the link for that is in my description. And in the timestamps, underneath the timestamps in the description and the comments. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, a tarot reading, astrology session, an open channeling session, a combination, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live, you get to really customize your time with me. So it's the perfect reading for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon for another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3. So you guys got the Queen of the Light, the Spirit Whisperer, the Word Lord, and the Wise Woman of Wonderland. So the first thing that's coming through is a little bit of bitterness. I'm not going to lie. I feel like there is a feeling of sometimes this person boomerangs into like resentment a little bit. Sometimes there's a feeling of missed chances, missed opportunities. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people in this pile, this is someone that you're no contact with, or a breakup, or even a crush that never came to fruition. Because I almost feel like this person is saying, I wish I'd done more. I wish I had known how special this was as well, because with the spirit whisper, I feel like it's taken this person time to realize how long this connection would last and how drawn to you they would be. Like maybe they thought at the time that it was just a fleeting crush or just a regular connection. And, I'm not really going to care that much. So yeah, I have feelings now, but I'll get over them. And then I feel like now it has taken them time to realize this was very, very special and very, very rare. And it's not something that they're just going to find everywhere. But there's also this sense of bitterness coming through, almost like wishing you had done more. Also, for those of you guys who have moved on and really found a lot of success, like if you have just focused on yourself and thrived, or just kind of seem to be living your best life, maybe you're in a relationship or whatever, this person is a little bitter about that. And I could see, if you are in a relationship or an active connection with this person, that maybe it's just that sometimes they're insecure, like, wow, she's this goddess or he's this amazing guy, and I don't know if I fit into their life anymore with this Queen of the Light card. Like they really do hold you in high regard. And they may even sometimes be insecure, thinking that like you're so much smarter than them with this Word Lord card, thinking sometimes like, do they even have a place for me in their life? Would I even be able to fit in? I almost am getting a vibe that whether you're in an active connection with this person or it's someone from the past, they definitely do feel intimidated by you. They definitely see what you're doing with your life. And there's a part of them that thinks, of course, they wouldn't need me. They wouldn't want me. Like, why do I even try? Why should I try? Because it's pointless. Because, like, look at how they're living. They're happy as a clam, or they have all this success, or they have this amazing job. And I bet they don't even think of me, or they just wouldn't tolerate me. For some of you guys, you may have cut things off because of some bad behavior from this person. And if that's the case, I feel like it took them a really long time to accept any guilt with that, or to be like, I did screw that up. There may have been a lot of defensiveness at first. I feel like this person was defensive about the whole thing. Like whether this could have maybe been a crush where they never actually moved forward. They never actually approached you and told you their feelings. And at the time, they may have felt very defensive about that as well. Like, why should I have to be the one? Why do I have to tell them? They should approach me and stuff like that. And I feel like it's taken them time. It's almost like I'm seeing those 7 stages of grief or whatever, where it's taken them time, and maybe they had to pass through like denial, anger, resentment, and then move to finally admitting like, no, I'm sad because actually they meant a lot to me. And I feel like there's also this feeling of foolishness on their part. Like, I've been a fool. I've acted so stupid, and almost being a little bit embarrassed to approach you. For some of you guys, you may have also met this person or known this person at a time that they consider a low point in their life. And it may not have even been that it genuinely was like they were at rock bottom or something. But I feel like for some of them, it's just meeting you, and they do put you on this pedestal and they do look up to you. So it's kind of like that energy where you bring out, you see someone's flaws. I mentioned this in one other reading I did, but how, like, for example, when I lived in LA, I feel like you have this idea of like, oh, I would love to run into this celebrity. That would be so cool. Or, oh my gosh, that guy, he's such a heartthrob. Wow, that would be a dream to see him out and about, or make eye contact with him or whatever. But then when you live in LA, like that kind of a thing happens, right? And like without fail, of course, it always happens when you're like, you just got done working out, you're popping into the grocery store or the smoothie shop to get something quick. And it's like never the time when you're like, oh my God, my outfit looks so good, my makeup, I just look stunning. So even if you make that eye contact, there's that part of you that's like, way more embarrassed than you would be if like a normal person saw you out and about, even though you don't have a connection to that person, but you're still like, okay, it's even more embarrassing that, like, for example, and I never saw him, but like Timothy Chalamet saw me in my sweatpants, than like a regular person. And I guess that's the best metaphor that comes to my mind is like this person, sometimes when you meet someone and you really like them, or you admire them, or you put them up on a pedestal, behavior that you may have rationalized or been like, oh, that's fine. Now suddenly you're looking at it more critically. Suddenly you're aware, going back to that metaphor, when you're in the grocery shop, looking at Timothy Chalamet and you're suddenly realizing that like half your makeup got sweated off during your workout, and you're wearing like some ratty oversized t-shirt that you've had for years, and just some, workout leggings, and your hair is a mess, and you're like, maybe that would have been fine before, like, because you're just like, oh, I'm just grabbing a smoothie, whatever. But now you're like, okay, did it have to be Timothy Chalamet who saw me like this? Like this is so embarrassing. And again, I've never seen him. I'm just using him as like a random example. So that's the thing, is you can become more self-conscious. And I feel like you did that to this person. Like you made them hyper aware of themselves, and low-key, they're kind of embarrassed. Low-key, they're kind of like thinking back like, oh, I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe I said that, or like, why did I do this? Why did I act that way? And that's why I'm getting like a lot of defensiveness at first. Like it's almost like, sometimes it's easier just to have that energy of like, well, why shouldn't I go to so I'm not allowed to go to the grocery store in my sweatpants? This is BS. Then just admitting like, yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. That was like bad timing. And I wish I had like had a better outfit on. Not that obviously that situation matters, but as a metaphor for life, right? Like it's easier to go into that defensive mode and be like, well, so what? Yeah, so what if I have a gaming addiction? So what if I drink too much? So what if I don't have my finances in order? And you know what? I shouldn't have to do that for you. And I feel like that's what this person did for a while. Like they really did struggle with like feeling some sense of like low self-esteem or comparing themselves to you. And it did make them go into almost like defense mode or passive aggressive, or like, whatever, I'm just going to stand my ground. And I feel like now they look back like, yeah, I didn't handle that right. For some of them, depending on where they are in this healing process, they may still be in a defensive mode. But I feel like for a lot of them, it took them a while. And now they're kind of admitting like, yeah, I bungled that. Yeah, I messed that up. And that they do miss you. Like, I feel like they miss your presence. They miss your attention. They're saying something about you taking your attention away, or like you're no longer paying attention to them. Maybe for some of you guys, you stopped, I don't know, checking their page or connecting with them on the astral plane. Or like, yeah, watching their stories on Instagram, or whatever the case, or you just stopped dealing with them and removed your energy. And again, I feel like this person it's almost like they're realizing that there's a scarcity there or something. Like, you know how sometimes if there's like a big storm or a natural disaster at the store, they'll run out of soup and like goods that everyone needs, like they'll run out of milk and bottled water and whatnot. And it's like, that's when you really appreciate it, and you're like, oh my God, I should have gotten more soup. Oh my gosh, there's no more. And I feel like that's the vibe coming through, like this person realizing your value through your absence. And I feel like that took a while for them to kind of like dawn on them, like, oh my gosh, they really do add this value to my life, and they are this kind of rare commodity, and I just can't get this type of energy from anyone. They're also saying you are maybe a little spiritual, or they feel you have a spiritual energy. Pile number 3. So we got the 10 of Wands. So this person doesn't know what to do. They don't know how to approach things. They don't know how to change things or alchemize the situation. We got 2 cards, the Hanged Man, and then we also got the King of Pentacles. Yeah, this person doesn't know what to do, and it really has taken them a while. You know, the Hanged Man is a very interesting card with a lot of meanings. But one of the things it can represent is like that feeling of defeat. It's also looking at a situation through different eyes, viewing it differently. And it often is like the way that sometimes we view a situation differently when we lose it or when we have a defeat. It's almost like sometimes how you need to be humbled to fully get it. Or you may not take that like class in school seriously until the teacher tells you like, by the way, you might fail. And that's when you're like, oh, shoot, okay, let me try to like get this going. Let me try to study more. And I feel like with this person, there was a lot of bravado. There was a lot of like, I don't need pile number 3. I don't care. Like, okay, I'm not going to miss you that much, whatever. And now it's like, okay, I really have to admit, first of all, for some of them, if they did treat you badly, if they were trying to kind of prove to you like how much they don't care by being a jerk, they definitely do regret that. I also feel like this person, though, they're too proud to kind of step forward, because with the King of Pentacles, I feel like they care a lot about like their dignity, so to speak, you know, their pride. They're just not the type to come forward and say, hey, I completely screwed up. Like, I know I messed up and I'm just going to be honest. Like, that was my bad. And, you know, I just don't think this person really wants to humble themselves. There was a little bit of an immature energy and a little bit of running away energy and a little bit of like, you're going to suffer. Like, I feel like this person felt like you didn't treat them well. Again, they had a little bit of a petulance, kind of like, well, you should ask me out, or well, you should be the one keeping this relationship going, or well, you should be doing the work, you know, that kind of energy. Like, hey, you know, I shouldn't be expected to do all this stuff. I feel like that's kind of how they viewed things. And that's how they would kind of almost, I feel like they would almost work themselves up into a frenzy about it, you know, being like, yeah, it's not, yeah, you're right. This is unfair and blah, blah, blah. And really not paying attention to the fact that I feel like you were slipping away, you know, and now I feel like even though they've reconciled and admitted, like, yeah, I messed that up, they still do not want to come. That's just not their MO, to humble themselves and say, yeah, like, let me come clean. Let me be fully honest. Let me tell you how it is. I feel like they still cling to their pride and, you know, kind of like this defensive self-image that they have. So they may distract themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are in other relationships and they may want to act to everyone kind of like, oh yeah, I'm completely happy, or I'm thriving in this relationship, but meanwhile they're thinking of you. And you know, they're not really that invested in their partner, but their pride keeps them from stepping forward. I do feel like, again, with the the 10 of Wands, this person kind of isn't sure even how to resolve this situation, isn't sure how to fix it. They may feel strongly that it's just too far gone, too bungled, too broken and janky of a situation that it can't be fixed. And I feel like for them, you know, it's just kind of having to accept that and move on. And still a little bit of them are in denial. Like, they're just hoping, like, I feel like it's almost like you don't have any other plan. So you're like, well, okay. Like, it's almost like, this is a weird metaphor, but what's coming to mind is like someone who's like hiking in, like they're doing camping, the kind in state parks where you have to like pack your stuff and hike in. So you can't like drive your car up to the campsite. You have to like hike a mile or two, or you have to hike like 5 miles and you have to carry everything with you. And almost like that person realizing, you know, when they're in like 3 miles in to the hike or 4 miles, like, oh, I forgot heavy socks, and I forgot this thing that I really need. I forgot a pot to boil water, and I forgot that. And I didn't really put anything, you know, in that will help with this issue. I don't know. I'm not like a super intense camper, so I don't really know everything you need. But my point is, it's like that moment of panic of like, oh my God, I don't have anything. But then it's like, okay, but what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm already almost to the campsite. You know, it's getting dark. I don't really have an option. So I'm just going to have to stick this one out. And like that feeling of like, well, I don't know. There's no solution. So we just have to accept it as it is. And I feel like that's kind of how this person feels. I keep hearing this line from like Better Man by Little Big Town, which I think was written by Taylor Swift, of course, because she has the best lyrics, I think, for these kinds of situations. But it's like a lyric, and I keep hearing it, that it's like, these days I cling to my pride because it's all I have. And I feel like that's what this person is thinking. You know, they're saying like, I don't have anything other than my pride at this point. I don't even think you would say yes. I don't think you would get back together with me. So that's just what I'm going to stick with. I'm just going to stick with my pride. I'm just going to keep living that out. I'm just going to keep pushing along with that. And I'm just going to act like it doesn't bother me, because that's all I have. I don't really have you. You wouldn't even tolerate me. I do feel like in a way this person, if you are in an active relationship with this person, I wouldn't be surprised if some of y'all sometimes have doubts about the relationship, and then you picked this pile to be like, I don't know, because I feel like sometimes this person doesn't respect me, so I want to know what's going on. And I feel like they do have a tendency towards kind of laziness in the relationship, or just like doing the bare minimum, which I don't like. it's almost like they're a little arrogant, you know, and they think they shouldn't have to do certain things, like it's beneath them. Let's get into a couple more tarot cards. Three of Pentacles. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune. How is this person feeling? And the High Priestess reversed. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, this person may try to keep themselves busy and occupied with the Wheel of Fortune, connecting through with Sagittarius and Jupiter. You know, Sagittarians, the archer, they love to have a project. They love to have an endeavor. They love to have something to kind of distract themselves, like some new trip they're taking or some new project they're beginning or some new like exciting thing happening in their life. That's what a Sagittarius thrives with, and it leads them to a lot of success, but sometimes it can be their way of avoiding reality, avoiding responsibility, avoiding to do the hard things. That's why Sagittarius gets followed by Capricorn coming in to correct those excesses, and Capricorns definitely don't want to avoid the problem. They want to deal with it, fix it, work hard, buckle down. And that's the energy of Capricorn coming in to kind of correct the escapism that we see with Sagittarius. But yeah, I feel like for you guys, this person, you know, they tried to do a little escapism. They tried to do also that wishful thinking that we see with Jupiter, with both Sagittarius and the other sign it rules, Pisces, of sometimes ignoring a situation and just kind of hoping like, yeah, it'll fix itself. And I feel like in a way, like, you may have felt like you gave this person a lot of warnings, or you told them like, I'm not happy or something, and this person just didn't really listen, and they were just hoping like, well, they'll get over it, or whatever, or it's just gonna fix itself, I don't really have to do anything. And again, there was like a laziness there can be laziness with Jupiter placements, because it's like, I mean, Sagittarius less so because it is a fire sign, but still it's like, I'm just gonna wing it, I'm just gonna do this, whatever, you know, kind of a thing. It'll work out in the end. And, you know, it's not that very hyper perfectionism that we can see in Capricorn. And anyway, I feel like with this person, they were kind of careless. You know, that's the vibe I'm getting, is like just someone who's just, yeah, it's going to be fine. I think, I don't really know how, but it'll work out. And I feel like this person really was in that energy. And it's almost like, I always think there's an energy of Sagittarius, which does rule the ninth house of long distance travel, of sometimes like, you know, that feeling you get when you leave in a hurry for a trip, and you like, if you've been, you know, you've been planning a trip, but maybe you didn't pack until the night before, or, you know, you didn't wake up quite as early as you should have, and you're dashing out the door. And of course that happens to a lot of us when we're going on vacation, you know, like it's like, even if you plan to wake up 3 hours before and do everything, sometimes you oversleep, or just you don't have the right time, or you have time enough to like make your breakfast but not wash the dishes after, so you just throw them in the sink, or you don't have time to fully clean up your closet after you pack all your clothes, so there's clothes scattered on the floor. And it's almost like that feeling when you come back to your apartment or your house after like an amazing vacation, and you just realize like, oh my gosh, it's kind of a complete mess, you know, like I was running around like crazy at the last minute. I didn't put anything back. My closet looks like a disaster. It looks like something exploded in here. There's clothes everywhere. You know, maybe my makeup is kind of in disarray on the counter because I was throwing things in my makeup bag or whatever. And, you know, things just weren't, I didn't really have time. I was so excited about my vacation that I wasn't really thinking about what it would be like when I come back. And I feel like that's kind of what this person did. They may have done some escapism. Some of them may have really enjoyed dating around, or even like partying, going out and doing substances, drinking too much, whatever. And now it's like that kind of almost like the hangover after the night of, that feeling when you come back from vacation and you realize like, oh my God, maybe, you know, there's a bill on the table that you didn't pay and now it's due today. And you told yourself, well, I'll take care of it. I have my vacation to go on. And you told yourself like, yeah, you know, I'm going to clean out the fridge on the way back. But anyway, I'm going on vacation. I don't care. And now you have something rotting in the fridge, you know, and you have to like clean that out and clean up like you know, the mess, and you have to like go through and fix all this stuff. And it's almost like, yeah, realizing that like the vacation was fun, but now we're back in the real world. And I feel like this person did an element of that. Like there was an element of screwing things up just because whatever, and not really thinking it through, and now kind of having to admit to themselves like, oof, I screwed that up. Yeah. Let's get into some song cards to see how this person is feeling. Pile number 3. Sunflower, Post Malone. How does this person feel towards pile 3? My Favorite Mistake. That's a perfect song for this person. Sheryl Crow. This one is She's So Lovely, Beach House. Yeah. Talking Body, Tove Lo. Moondance, Van Morrison. And this one is All of Me Wants All of You. I mentioned this in the other pile, but someone spilled some water on my cards. So they are a little blurry, some of them. I can still make them out, but yeah, it actually was not me who did it for once, even though I'm very clumsy. I did not spill the water, but whoever did it will remain nameless. But that's why some of them look a little hard to read. But I know what they say. So All of Me Wants All of You, Sufjan Stevens, I Summon You, Spoon. And this person may definitely, like, if they're having a late night or they're drinking too much or they're going through something, I do feel like they really think of you. There's a part of them that feels like they really still need you. Like you really brought value to their life. You really helped them with things. I feel like they felt like they could be more honest and vulnerable with you than they could with like almost anyone else. You know, they really felt like you guys had that connection where they could be truly themselves, which I think is rare. And I don't think they have it if they have a current connection. They're also very, very physically attracted to you, with Talking Body and Sunflower. And She's So Lovely. I think they think of you as this very rare jewel, but it's funny because it's like for a while they just really took you for granted and they really didn't admit to that to themselves. It's almost giving me like divorced dad energy of like those divorced dads that like they don't realize their wife is fed up until she leaves and files for divorce, and then he's like, what happened? I didn't do anything. What? It came out of nowhere. And she's like, I've been telling you for years that I'm unhappy. Like, what do you mean? But yeah, I feel like this person kind of, it's like they just didn't, I don't know, they thought you were always going to be around. They didn't want to have to step up to the plate. They didn't want to have to do what they would have to do to get you, to land you, to keep you. They may have not wanted to have to be emotionally vulnerable. I feel like they don't like to make themselves vulnerable. They don't like to have to, you know, feel small by saying like, I really love you. I need you. I want you so much, because that kind of hits their ego. That makes them feel small, and they don't like that. So they kind of would rather stand in their arrogance and pride and just be like, hey, whatever, I don't care, even if it's painful, even if it makes them sad. Let's get some astro dice for you. Pile number 3. So we got Leo, Jupiter, in the first house. Wow, so we have all fire signs. And that makes perfect sense to me. So we have technically Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. And that makes perfect sense about the fire signs because they really do live in the moment. And I think that's something that's really beautiful about fire signs. I love fire. I have like a Leo ruled 7th house, Aries, Venus. So I really do appreciate like fire energy a lot. I think it's so exciting and fun. But the downside to fire can be, it can be very living in the moment, which can lead to a lot of excitement, a lot of fun, but also combustion, things that didn't need to happen. It's kind of like in the moment, I don't know, I've never done this. I've never set a fire deliberately, but it's almost like if you, I don't know, start a fire and at first it's like, wow, that's so exciting. Look, it's burning everything. Whoa, look at the bright flames. And then it gets out of control and then it starts burning something down. And then it's like, oh, wait, this isn't as fun. This isn't as exciting. Maybe it seemed exciting in the moment, but now we have to deal with the fact that this thing got lit on fire and it could literally turn into a huge emergency or, you know, just be really frightening. And there's an element of fire that lives so much in the moment. And again, I feel like this person acted out of a place. There's also selfishness, I would say, in all the fire signs. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, there's always that selfish kind of like me first energy. Not necessarily always a bad thing, and it can lead to a lot of success. But you know, when it comes to a relationship, it isn't necessarily an energy that you always love to see, even though there's a lot of generosity in like Leo, for example. But you know, ultimately it's more self-focused, and I feel like this person, they were just thinking of themselves. They weren't really thinking through the consequences. They were acting in the moment. They may have also been very like temporarily focused on like their fun. You know, fire signs love excitement. They love to do things that are just gonna be a fun blast. And that's what makes them so great to hang out with and go out and party with. But, you know, I feel like they didn't love having to be vulnerable. Like I said, they may have done a lot of things to distract them. I already talked a lot about Sagittarius there. And Aries also is coming through. Like Aries, fire in general can be very defiant. Aries, of course, is ruled by Mars. And so it can be that like, okay, I'll fight you. I don't care what it is. And I feel like sometimes this person like fought this when in reality, they should have been a lot more patient. They should have been like, yeah, you know, that's a good point. Or, yeah, I don't really feel that way, but let me explain my thoughts to you. And instead, there was just this kind of immature defiance, this kind of like, hey, get over it energy, where they never really acted right and came correct in the way they probably knew they should. So now they kind of have to just deal with that pain. But yeah, I think they do care about you, and it's honestly up for them to process those emotions and be honest with themselves, which I don't know if they can do. But yeah, that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I really hope that resonates. If you want to see more of my content, then head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional tarot readings. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon. And you also get early and ad-free access to my YouTube videos. I just posted a reading all about who is coming towards you, the early part of 2025, a lot of detail with that. And then also one about what you can do to bring blessings into your life. But there's so many different readings, it's hard for me to even remember everything. Like I said, over 100 exclusive readings, and then you will also get early access to my YouTube, so you get to be the first to watch my YouTube readings. If that sounds good and you're interested in joining me over there, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comment and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, a combination of tarot, astrology, channeling, or just focusing on one of those subjects, whether you want it to be, I don't know if I mentioned it, but you can do a pre-recorded reading, you can do a live session. You get to really customize your time with me, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon for another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, Pile 4, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the Winged Wise Ones, Sun Dancers, Metal King, the Spiral Dancer, and the Lady of the Gift. You guys actually got 5 cards, even though every other pile got 4, but an extra one flew out, so I wanted to include it. So the first thing that's coming through is almost like, oh, they think they're so much better than me. There's an energy of that, or even maybe a little resentment, feeling like, oh, so I'm not good enough for you, something like that. I feel like this person was really in awe of you. If you're in a relationship with this person, this could even be manifesting in a more positive way, kind of like someone that just really puts you up on a pedestal, is trying to do a lot of self-improvement in order to like keep you, in order to be able to have you and deserve you. And they may feel like they're not good enough in a way that, you know, they're working on themselves. They're trying to improve. But for those of you guys who are no contact or this is an ex, they definitely may be taking kind of more of a petulant attitude of like, oh, great, so you think you're better than me, whatever. And I feel like for them, they definitely, this is a pile that I'm getting strongly. They may watch your Instagram, they may check your social media. I feel like there's this sense of like, of course, I knew you were going to move on, or I knew you never really cared, or whatever like that. There's a little bit of resentment. I feel like this person may have an easier time with that emotion of like anger versus feeling really vulnerable and admitting how much they care. But I do feel like this person, they're saying for a while, they thought of you as like a dream. They thought of you as like amazing. Like, wow, this is really happening for me. There was a period, it was almost like a honeymoon phase when this person literally was like imagining marriage for you, imagining a life with you. Um, they really were like in awe of you. And I think they had this feeling almost like, when I feel that way, when I fall in love, it will just magically work out. Things will just happen. I'll just be able to like marry them and we'll live together forever. And I feel like they felt that when they met you, but for some of them, they may have like even taken you for granted for that reason. If you're in a relationship with this person, they may just be saying, like, oh, I knew right away. I knew right away. That could be a more positive interpretation of this energy. And it depends, of course, on their behavior, whether they really did embrace this kind of Metal King energy and they accepted those boundaries, they accepted the kind of Saturnian lessons and just were like, okay, I got to improve. Or whether they took that kind of more immature attitude of like, hey, you should love me as I am and I shouldn't have to do anything. And I feel like some of them did that. Like they didn't want to have to step up to the plate. So if they did run away from this connection or sabotage it or not ask you out or anything like that, then it could have been because there was almost like this entitlement, like, well, I love you so much, so you should just accept me as I am. Or I love you so much and I did blah blah for you, so that should be good enough. Like, I really love you and yeah, I took you out to McDonald's on a date and that should be fine for you. Even if you were like, no, I want to be taken out to a nice place to eat, like, this is not my vibe. I don't even eat McDonald's. Or if I do, I don't want to go on a date to McDonald's. But this person may have kind of been like, well, okay, so you think you're better. Or that may have been their interpretation somehow. I feel like part of it is just misdirected anger at themselves if they did bungle things, because there is that feeling of like, okay, it should have worked out. Like, I've never felt this strongly about anyone else. I was in love with you. I was madly in love. And I feel like this person almost has a tendency to sometimes feel sorry for themselves. Again, it really depends. I want to clarify, because if you're in a relationship with this person, obviously they probably wouldn't be feeling as sorry for themselves and they could just have accepted and felt a strong need that they had to do self-improvement and change in order to be with you, in order to earn you and deserve you. But for some who are, like I said, in no contact, or there was a breakup, or it was a crush and they never stepped forward and stepped up and asked you out, I feel like there was a part of them that just thought, that things were supposed to magically work out. And that almost like since things didn't work out, they kind of blame you for that. It's almost like it's easier to blame you than to admit their own flaws or failings or the fact that they didn't do everything they could have. It's kind of like when you just, I don't know, like I'm seeing the vibe of like a child going to a birthday party and maybe it's someone else's party and they don't know that like every time when they've seen a cake come out with their parents, maybe they're an only child, and every time they've seen a cake come out with a bunch of candles, it's been to celebrate their birthday, right? So maybe when they see that big cake coming out and everyone's singing happy birthday, they just assume like, this is my cake, great, fantastic. They don't realize like this is not my birthday, actually this is my friend's birthday. So when the other kid starts blowing out the candles, they're outraged, like, what the heck, this is my cake. And I feel like there's a vibe with some of them like that, if that makes sense, like this feeling of, oh, hold up, this was supposed to be mine, and not even doing a lot of self-reflection in terms of like, did I actually earn this? Am I actually on this level? Like, are we actually a good match? Am I doing everything right? Am I stepping up to the plate as much as I should have? Because I feel like there were things you were disappointed in where you wanted them to fix or improve, and you may have given them a lot of chances, or you may have like asked them for more, or just like maybe this person had a crush on you and when they did ask you out, they didn't actually ask you out. They said like, hey, do you want to come over and watch Netflix? And you're like, no. What do you mean, hang out on your couch and watch Netflix? Like, that's so low effort. No. And then they take that as like, well, I tried, I did, I asked you out, I went the extra mile. And you're like, you really didn't. Like, are you crazy? So I feel like in a way this person may have also, like, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the People in this pile, like they've always been used to being considered attractive, or they haven't had a problem with getting partners. So they just assumed that you should be so grateful that they're like into you. You know, you should be so like, oh my God, thank you for the bare minimum. Yes, yes, yes. So it's almost like if you asked them to improve or you weren't willing to accept whatever, they were like shocked by that. They were like, how dare you, you know? And like I know this is a weird metaphor, but Spirit is bringing up to me how like Meghan Markle said when she went to like Prince Harry's house the first time, like when he lived in like Kensington Palace, I think they live in Kensington Palace. I'm not sure, but he lived in like this little cottage is what they call it, but it's like a smaller house, and they don't have that much land on Kensington Palace because like obviously it's like in a big city, the land is set, the buildings are old. So anyway, she said she went over and she was just shocked at how like dingy it was and run down, which I think is so funny. Like there's so many funny things that came out of the Meghan Markle, like, you know, whatever story debacle. Like there's just so much interesting things to unpack from, yeah. But the thing is people said like there's truth to that because it is pretty run down because like they haven't renovated in years, and also it was designed like the housing was designed in like the early like 1900s, so like the rooms are kind of dark, there's not big windows like we have now and whatever. So anyway, they were like it's kind of valid, but also like she was really kind of rude about it. She insisted to renovate, and like she was coming from her luxe condo in Toronto anyway. So not saying which side is right, but I think a lot of people were kind of like, well, but it's Kensington Palace and you're living for free in a palace in the middle of London. Like probably you couldn't even pay to get a house like that. You know what I mean? So you can see both sides, but the mindset was like, but you should be grateful because you're in a palace. And anyway, I feel like that's what's coming to my mind is someone that, and I'm not saying like again, not trying to take sides with that, but it's almost like a vibe of, hey, you should just accept this, you know, because this is good enough and it's good enough for a lot of other people. So why won't you take this? And I feel like that's the mentality this person has, whether they were actually offering the equivalent of Kensington Palace or not, probably not. But I feel like they had that mentality that like, hey, you're lucky to even be here. You're lucky to be offered this. So like what, how could you even complain? How dare you? You know what I mean? And I feel like they kind of like got in their feelings about that. Like there was this sense of being wronged, or this sense of like, how dare you? And just being like offended by that, you know? I want to get into some tarot for you. Pile number 4. How does this person feel towards pile 4? Okay, the 9 of Cups. Yes, they did feel very emotionally fulfilled when they were with you. And again, that's why I think they almost fell into complacency, because they were so happy and so overjoyed. It's almost like they couldn't imagine that you wouldn't be happy. Like I said, the people who, there were a lot of people who, for right or wrong, and I'm not even disagreeing because I can't even imagine living in Kensington Palace, but that people were like, how could you even say that? Like, this is a palace. Okay, the real estate alone is worth like tens of millions just to be in the middle of London in this location or whatever, and having like big walking grounds around you and whatever. And it's like, I would be so happy. If I experienced that, I would be so overjoyed. So how could you turn your nose up to this? And I think that's kind of how this person felt. They're like, I'm happy with you. I'm like thrilled. Like, this is a dream for me. I'm so excited to be with you. Like, this is giving me everything. And now you're looking me in the face and telling me you're unsatisfied. This isn't good enough. And it was almost like scarring for this person. I'm not going to lie. I also feel like with the Metal King, like honestly, this person may talk about it and like say stuff about like, I got scarred, my ex-girlfriend, like she was so mean to me, or you know, it may be like you have become this point in their mind where they're like, I'm never gonna date again, or I'm never gonna open up to someone, or they may tell other people about you. Like if they're in a relationship with someone, they may talk to that person about you and say like, you know, pile number 4, they did me so wrong, they treated me so bad, they hurt me, they broke my heart. And they may really believe that, you know. I feel like for them, it was just jarring. It's like when you think something is a sure thing, or you think, oh yeah, like I'm definitely gonna have this, like when I get married, it's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna be so in love with my husband. And then you get married and it's a miserable marriage and you're fighting with your husband. And that's, jarring because it's like a different expectation than you had when you watch the Disney films or whatever. And I feel like for this person, they really thought if I ever fall in love like that, like it's definitely gonna be a sure thing. The other person's going to reciprocate. We'll just ride off into the sunset together. And I don't want to downgrade it or act like it's no big deal or make fun of it. If you're in a relationship with this person, they are just very emotionally tied to you, possibly even emotionally dependent on you. Like if they don't get to see you for that day, they're depressed. I feel like they just love your energy, whoever this person is. They just love your energy. If they could like bottle it and just carry it around with them and drink it all the time, like I'm seeing someone carrying around a bottle of green juice for some reason, and like just sipping it. You know how like sometimes if you get green juice, you'll sip it when you want some energy or something. And that's what I'm seeing is this person being like, I need a little dose of pile four. And so, yeah, I feel like they felt very fulfilled, but it also may have led to complacency. Like, I'm so happy, pile four has to be happy, even if you weren't. Yeah, let me get some more cards for you, pile four. Okay, we got a reversal of the King of Wands. Okay, interesting. Let me get some more tarot. We got the Empress. Wow, that's definitely you. And the Moon card. Okay, perfect. So with the Empress, they definitely see you as very beautiful, very, especially if you're a woman, like they definitely see you as very feminine, very in your feminine power, very someone who is receptive and expects the best, and you're not willing to suffer fools. You're not willing to like take less than you deserve. You have high standards. And I feel like that excites this person on one level, but also sometimes scares them away or makes them be like, wow, I don't know if I can step up to that. I don't know if I can do all that. But I think they kind of worship you in a way, like they do look up to you. They do see this feminine divine energy exuding from you. The moon is very emblematic of the feminine divine, being the feminine luminary. And also with the moon, she's very, and this is why she's connected to feminine energy. One of the reasons, there's multiple, but she's, also emotional. Like she changes. She's very changeable. The moon hides some days and doesn't come out at all, and then some days she's shining brightly. So she's emotional, and the word that keeps coming to my mind is capricious. So kind of like there's a little bit of selfishness to the moon. The sun shines benevolently on everyone. It's just like, let me wake up every day and shine. And the moon is like, no, I don't feel like it. Yeah, it's going to be a no moon day today. Yeah, it's going to be a sliver of moon. No, you're just going to have to navigate in the dark. She kind of comes and goes when she wants. She also controls the tides. So she's very powerful, but not in a way that's as obvious as the sun, right? Where you see it right in the sky. And she's also, if she doesn't like something, she can go away. She can just vanish. She can just disappear. And there's a lot of mystery to the moon for that reason. And I feel like these all relate to you. Like there is this sense of you being mysterious, you doing what you want, you being a little selfish. Like if it doesn't make you happy, you're just on to the next. I'm not going to deal with this. And you're not going to like suffer fools. You're not going to accept a less than second best. I think there is more of a coldness to the moon than to the sun, and it's like if you're not acting right, you can imagine that the moon, which rules emotions in astrology, it rules your emotional center, that the moon is going to like care. It's going to take it seriously. It's not going to be stoic and just like, oh, whatever, okay. It's going to be like crying about it. It's going to be like, no, I'm not happy, I'm not fulfilled. And I feel like this person almost, another thing about the moon is it's related to lunacy. That's why the root of luna is the moon in Latin. Anyway, so the moon can sometimes, this person may say like, oh, pile number 4 is crazy. Pile number 4 is so emotional. Pile number 4 was so demanding. Pile number 4, nothing was good enough for them, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I feel like they kind of have that energy of, like they're very invigorated by this, but they almost hate that they are. They love it, but they hate that they love it. You know, they get addicted to it, but then they're angry about it. You know, like I said, you can love the moon all you want, but the moon is still going to vanish for a good portion of the month and not really come out. And you're going to have to navigate no matter how much you love the moon. The moon sometimes just completely hides behind clouds. The moon, there's so much mystery with moon energy. So anyway, I feel like that's how this person is kind of describing you. On one hand, it does excite them, it does interest them, they like this about you. But then on the other hand, especially for low vibrational people, or if there was a breakup or it was a crush that never came to fruition, they may also kind of not resent it, but now look at it and try to cast it in a negative light. Try to say like, oh, they were just, they weren't reliable, and that's the thing. The moon will never be reliable. It's not the sun. It's not going to come out and burn bright every day. It's going to change all the time. And yeah, there's something very feminine about that. The moon only comes out when it wants to. And there's Empress energy with that as well. So I feel like they're saying you really knew your worth. And if you're in a relationship with this person, low-key, they may be slightly afraid of you. They may be kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to get on my partner's bad side. Like, I really like them. I really look up to them, but like, I don't want to see them mad. But if you broke up with this person or you're no contact, they may look back at that and kind of like, that's their justification. It's kind of like, a guy is down bad for a girl when he's ranting about her to, like, on a date. Like, if you're on a date with a guy and he's like, yeah, and so anyway, my ex-girlfriend, and she's crazy, and she ruined my life. And then you're like, okay, so you really loved her then. So she must be really cool because you're obsessed. So like, clearly, yeah, she's kind of an icon, let's be real. You know what I mean? Let's get some more cards for you, pile 4. Like, you can say all you want that, like, I'm over her, I don't care, she's nuts. But if you're still so obsessed, then the lie detector test is saying something else. So how is this person feeling towards pile number 4? Okay, so we got the Star card reversed and the 5 of Wands. So the 5 of Wands can definitely show conflict. Again, if this person is someone you're in a relationship with, sometimes it may frustrate you. Or if you were in a relationship with them, they may not have, again, it's giving divorced dad energy, kind of like a divorced dad that like he's kind of being argumentative, and like the wife is like, I'm really annoyed, like you need to fix this, you need to stop that, and he's still arguing, and then he doesn't realize that she's genuinely done. She's not lying, she's not pretending, she's like truly over it. And I feel like sometimes this person may be prone to like being more argumentative, because they don't kind of realize what's at stake. They don't realize how serious you are or you were. And so again, they may now like still take that immature attitude of like, they tell everyone that like, she just left me, I don't know what I did. I feel like there is that element of sometimes them fighting when they should just lay down and admit like, you know what, I am a simp for you, I am down bad, and I'm gonna do what you want. But instead, I feel like they sometimes are immature and just have this attitude of like, I shouldn't have to do that, you should accept it as it is. So again, they're kind of in awe of you, but sometimes they don't act right and they don't come correct. And I feel like you're just not the kind of person to settle for that. Like you're just too independent for that. Let me get some song cards for you, pile number 4. So we got Trains to Brazil, Guillermo. I think I'm saying that name right. Cardigan, Taylor Swift. How is this person feeling towards pile number 4? Wish You Were On It. Why am I not surprised that song came up? That is the funniest song ever. Death by a Thousand Cuts, Taylor Swift. Sweet Talking Woman, Electric Light Orchestra. Wow. I love how accurate the song cards are. It just makes me laugh because it's like, wow, they're just what you would expect from this energy. The Bright Side, Lil Peep. I Want to Be Yours, Arctic Monkeys. One more. Love at First Sight, Kylie Minogue. Okay, great. So I was laughing with I Wish You Were On It by Florida Georgia Line because I literally can't believe that was even released as a song because I low-key think it's so embarrassing that someone would write it because the whole song is about getting in an argument with like your girlfriend and then you wish she would be coming back to apologize to you, which I'm like like I feel like that's an intrusive thought that like yeah, we all have, but like just keep that to yourself. And the whole Wish You Were On It is like I wish you were on the road driving to my house crying and then you'd bust down the door and kiss me and tell me how much you love me, which again I'm just like why would you say that out loud? Why would you write a whole song about it? You know, it's kind of embarrassing. Like yeah, we all feel that way, but like don't say your like revenge fantasy out loud or your apology fantasy out loud. You know, I don't know, to me that's funny, but that's why I'm like this is perfect for this person because I feel like they definitely may fantasize about that. They may fantasize about you reaching out to them or you coming back or you coming correct, you coming to them and saying like, I'm so sorry, I was wrong, I realize now what I missed out on or something. I feel like they kind of may dream about like humbling you or having you realize what you missed out on, that kind of a thing. Yeah, you know, I feel like there is an energy with some of the people who pick this palette. Again, not everyone. If you're in a relationship, they probably don't do this. But with that cardigan card, you know, the lyric from Cardigan that's coming to my mind is, and when I felt like an old cardigan under someone's bed, you pulled me out and said I was your favorite. And anyway, what's coming to my mind is like this person may really feel sorry for themselves a lot. They may kind of feel like they're very done badly by people. You know, like, oh, I've been treated so badly. I haven't been treated well and so unfair. And really kind of like get into their feelings and get into a spiral of that. Even Sweet Talking Woman is making me think of that with by ELO, where it's like that whole song is about like kind of like oh, you're such a, I don't know, like kind of attacking this woman. Oh, like, you're such a sweet talker. Oh, you know, you're such a smooth woman, but you're a liar. You know, that kind of a thing. And this person may even cast you as that, kind of like, oh, you played me, you lied to me, you charmed me. And this may be a sob story they tell to people, like on their dates. They may talk about, you know, I have this crazy ex and she ruined my life, or she acted like she loved me, she never cared, or you know telling themselves like, you know, I thought she felt something, I don't think she feels anything, she's not capable of love, and just being so dramatic about it. And same with, you know, if this was a crush, whatever, they may really replay it in their mind kind of from a victim mindset. Let me get into some astro dice for you, pile number 4. So we got the 10th house, aka Capricorn. We got the nodes. Let's see. And then we also have Leo. Okay, so coming out with Capricorn. Capricorn is the house of public image, reputation, and again, this person may be very focused on your public image in the sense that they check your social media, they check to see any updates, they check to see what you're doing with your career, that kind of a thing. Capricorn is also, I don't want to say superficial because I don't think that's the right word or a good, but like a lot of Capricorns, you know, are Capricorn Venus, Capricorn Mars, they might not date someone who's like broke. You know, there's an element of Capricorn and all the earth signs that they look at the brass tacks. It's not all about the feelings the way the water signs are, or just the spark of attraction the way the fire signs are. It's like, well, let me see your bank account, what's your credit score, can I rely on you, what's the deal here? Like, it's like we're living in reality, we live on earth, and that's what all the earth signs are concerned with. Like the material reality, not how I feel, not what I think, not a dream, but how is it? And again, I feel like this person may cast you as kind of superficial for that reason, that like I had all these feelings for you and you didn't care, and all you care about is money, or all you care about is blah blah. And I feel like that's sometimes easier for them to go with, because again, if they admitted that they did screw some things up, then you know they would feel bad about themselves, so they may cling to that. Again, this person's very ego oriented. We got Leo. So Leo, I love Leos. I have a Leo 7th house, so I'm a big fan of Leos, but I do think that, Leo energy in its low vibrational form can be a little bit selfish or protecting their own ego. And I feel like with this person, they kind of are like, oh, let me think of things on the terms that will benefit me, on the terms that will make me feel good about myself instead of like really being brutally honest. And also Leo can have a somewhat childish energy. It's literally ruling the fifth house of children. And I do feel like this person can sometimes be a little childish about it. Like when they fell in love, Leo is also like that feeling of love. It's the fifth house of kind of flings, relationships, or short term, magical, fun relationships. It's also the house of fun hobbies. So it's kind of a very lighthearted house. And I feel like this person, they didn't approach things as seriously as they should have. They didn't like buckle down and do what they needed to do and kind of embrace that energy of like, okay, I gotta do what I gotta do. Instead, it was like, this is fun, this is awesome, I'm in love, yay, but not really thinking through the consequences, or not really thinking through like, how am I going to have to act? And let me try to be on my best behavior, and let me try to fix this, and let me try to like bring my A game. Instead, it was kind of complacent. That's what I'm getting. And this person may feel very, very connected to you. I feel like the nodes are a soul aspect. It's where we find our south node, our past life, our north node, our future destiny. So I feel like for them, there is this strong sense of feeling so connected to you. And again, maybe that sense that when they met you, things just have to work out. I feel that magical, like faded energy, and I just know things are going to work out, and being very optimistic about it, but maybe to the point where sometimes they took you for granted. If you are in a relationship with this person, just know that they do see you as their main soulmate. So if they could step into a Capricorn energy, if they have already stepped into that Capricorn energy of embracing the hard work and embracing the lessons and being like, you know what, I'm willing to take it all on, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to change, I'm willing to grow, then that this could be a really beautiful energy that has the potential to alchemize and be amazing. It's just going to be dependent on them being willing to do the work and really do what it takes to make you happy is what's coming to my mind. So that is what I have for you, pile number 4. I really hope that resonates. If you want to see more of my content, then head to my Patreon. There are over 100 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to my YouTube videos, so you get to be the first to watch them. I just posted a reading all about who is coming towards you, as well as more detail about the early part of 2025, and one about how you can get more blessings and abundance into your life. So there's a lot of great readings to choose from. If those sound good to you, or you're interested in any of the hundreds of other readings I have over there, then head to my Patreon. The link for that is underneath the timestamps in the description and the comments. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, whether you're looking for a quick half-hour reading, a full hour-length reading, whether you want it to be focused on tarot, astrology, just some open channeling, a combination, whether you want it to be pre-recorded or live. There are so many different options and ways to customize your reading, so it's the perfect session for you. If that sounds good, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon for another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.